Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
everybody. That's what we said in core. In core, we say in the Netherlands.
In core.
In core.
My name is Christina,
And I'm Xander.
and you're listening to the Empowerment Podcast. And we have a very special topic today. And the topic is how to gain empowerment. Like,
Yeah,
how does it work? We just discussed it a little bit because it's
yeah,
such an interesting area. Everyone wants to feel empowered, but
yeah.
where to start? Huh?
Yeah, if you want to feel empowered, you want to go for your goals, you want to feel like, yeah, I can do it. But then sometimes it's a Monday morning or a Saturday afternoon, and you're like, I don't know. Where do you get it from?
So I can say, all these, I don't want them make them wrong, but I also was very attracted by workshops and seminars where it is all about empowerment and people
Yeah,
are standing on their chairs and clapping with
yeah.
their
There's a lot of
hands.
music.
Yeah. And it's not a seminar which I visited, I must say. I was only inspired by that and I watched a lot of talks around that and so on. But I visited some seminars where it was about, like, I don't know, changing minds, feeling better. And I felt better during the workshops and seminars. But when I was home, it felt like the cloud stayed there where I visited. And I couldn't take it into my life. I don't know
Mm.
if you can relate to that.
Yeah, so I can. I have been to those seminars. Also, I flew over to a seminar in the United States for a few
Oh,
days.
really?
Yeah, and it was absolutely fantastic. But I agree. Then the cloud, well, it flew back with me. You get this high, and then but it slowly sort of the weather changes again, and then it comes.
Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then where is it? And sometimes it lasts for a few days or a few weeks, or you really these concepts really resonate with you. But inevitably, like life happens, things you get stressed, and then somehow it sort of dissipates.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes it an interesting topic because when and this is what I did too, like wanted to have from the outside, we can't sustain it for a long time. It feels like
No.
it's impermanent and it's something what you can't keep. It's just like, yeah, going through you and then it's gone again. And then you
Yeah.
search for it and running behind it. And maybe you think you need to do the next seminar or I don't
Yeah.
know.
How do you search for it if you have that?
Yeah, I mean, I know the feeling of search in that area because I'm a very enthusiastic person. You maybe
Yeah,
know.
I know.
That's the way I come into
Yeah.
action. If
Yeah.
it's too slow, I fall into sleep. But what I found out was that it's way more sustainable and way easier if I can create it from the inside.
Mm. Yeah.
And it can be that the outside is the indicator to bring me into movement, but it's never the engine what keeps it running. If I
I
don't decide at a certain point that I want to keep this flow or I want
mm.
to be in that or do something, whatever I can do something for it, then it disappears again.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is it for
I
you?
Yeah, well, it's sometimes confusing for me because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love going to YouTube or listening to podcasts. I mean, you can get empowerment, I think, from everywhere, but lasting empowerment is something different. For me, I watch YouTube motivational videos. I listen to certain podcasts from people that I find inspiring. And sometimes it's even music. I can listen to a certain song. It's
Yeah.
as funny as that I have a favorite song in the moment, and then I listen to it and I immediately get that boost and I start moving again. But that always fades away. And actually, oftentimes I search for it, but I don't find it. And then the cycle goes a little bit like this. And sometimes also I do find it and it propels me into action, and then I get moving again. But I don't like this feeling that I need something from outside to feel something inside. And I think when I want to feel something inside, what I found is I need to practice. I need to practice using avatar tools. I think that it takes work to light that inner fire of empowerment. I think a lot of people have a way of doing yoga or meditating or exercising, but yeah, you need to find a way to work it within yourself, I think, in order to really, yeah, build that muscle. What do you think?
I think it's way more silent than the world wants to sell us.
It's more silent. Yeah. Good way of putting it.
Yeah, the inner work, whatever we do, it's not something where you always like push yourself to it. It can be a decision. It can be very slight change of how you see things, and it can be it can feel empowered or with more juice or more connected to that. You feel like, oh, now I know why I'm going to do that or so. And I can say what I realized was working with the avatar tools, where I can say that I always feel an empowerment afterwards in any way, is that it has a lot to do with honesty. It's not the easiest way, but it's a very reliable way to empowerment, to feel empowered, to feel energy again, to be in the flow, comes back very fast.
Yeah. And for me, when you're saying that, it also comes back to that I'm not a perfect picture or something. And
oh no,
well, I thought I was, but then I looked again. Then I looked again, and I was like, no. So it's like,
my illusion disappears here.
It's sort of, no, I'm glad to enlighten you. No, it took a while for me to adjust to that as well. But finding that, it's a learning and it's a growing, and that, we make mistakes and I make mistakes, and but that you can learn it, actually. You can grow and you can be honest where you are now. And then suddenly, what sometimes even changes what I thought I wanted, changes because I'm just honest and I realize, oh, no, that's not what I wanted at all. Usually my heart opens and then it's a lot more clear what I want.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's more subtle than we think. Another misunderstanding about empowering feelings, that you feel like you can run a marathon, but it's not. I mean, it's still the feeling, but it does not mean that you have to scream and
no, you have to scream and shout and and make your voice known. I mean, maybe sometimes people try to model that
can be because it came from the inner self to express it, and then you try to model it, and then it does not feel the same way. That's true.
It's a subtle process of getting more honest with ourselves.
So do you think it's more important to do this inner work than just copy the outer behavior?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's more lasting. And I also think what you may find is, what I have found is a lot more enjoyable and durable than watching the next beautifully edited podcast or video.
The thousands ones, 20,000 book.
Which are amazing, by the way, which are so good, but that's not where it can begin, but not where it ends.
When you don't come over it and you don't stop reading books or watching YouTube videos, then you should look at it. I sometimes read a book. I don't know if you know that. I have a book which I really love. I read a page and I immediately go into action because I'm so inspired doing something. And I have other books, or it does not has to do with the book. It has to do with me. When I can read like pages and pages and nothing happens. So.
Yeah. And sometimes I also, mislead myself a little bit. And then I'm like, no, but I'm reading this book, so I'm getting there. But it's actually postponing on the thing that I know deep inside that I actually need to do.
Right.
So just relax, I guess. Do what's there and take action.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for your sharing, Sanna. That was
Yeah, you
honest.
too, Christine. Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. And
Thank
see you
you.
next time.
See you next time. Bye.